Hi everyone, my name is Alicia. I'm going to start off with a little apology. I'm kind of under the weather, so please be kind. I guess I'm lucky that I'm talking to a group of people who care about empathy, so thank you. My name is Alicia. I'm a product marketing manager at Deliveroo. I'm on the growth team. My product is called Marketer. It's the start of our restaurant ad platform. So I focus mostly on the B2B side of the business. But today I'm going to talk to you a bit about how to create a differentiated customer experience beyond the tech roadmap through product marketing activities. And then I'll walk you through like a case study of how I've done that with Marketer. Next. That's great. Cool. Off to a good start. So I'm going to start with a quick snapshot of what product marketing looks like today. I define product marketing as the glue that brings disparate stakeholders together. Whether you're a team of like 20 people in a WeWork or thousands of employees across multiple markets, it's really easy for people to kind of stick to what they know, stick to your work stream, and to not solve problems across boundaries. Product marketing can bring those people together so that the sum is greater than the parts. So we create scalable, personalized customer experiences that drive real business impact, from order volume to contribution profit to satisfaction of our users. The first two should never be at the expense of the latter. And there's a lot of good things and there's a lot of bad things. A really great thing is that we're here today, that we have a lot of momentum. Product marketing is getting some buzz. I was saying to Josie, it's so surreal to be around people who experiencing the same problems. It's really nice to have a sense of community. But the downside of that is that it's still really kind of ambiguous and we're still a bit misunderstood. And that's because we have to adapt to the unique business needs of the company that we are explicitly working for. And so it makes it really difficult for us to have a really clear definition of what product marketing is that is repeatable across different problems to solve. Another upside is that we live in an increasingly global world. And that means that we are inundated with more information than ever before. And as consumers, we are given so much more opportunity to go really deep into the competitive landscape and to do our research and just to see what actually is going to solve the real problem for us. And as a result, or I guess as a consequence, differentiation is going to become increasingly difficult in crowded markets. So, product differentiation becomes increasingly difficult as competing products become increasingly similar. So how do you stand out in a commoditized market? Let's take, for example, food subscription boxes. There's HelloFresh, there's Gusto, there's All Plants. I saw one the other night, it was like something chefs. I can't even remember. They're all kind of trying to solve the same problem for you. They're trying to give you a relatively healthy meal at a relatively affordable price. They all kind of have a bit of an eco-friendly, kind of environmentally friendly spin on their messaging. What actually makes them stand apart? Have you ever tried to cancel one of those boxes? Have anyone ever tried to cancel? They will call you and give you free boxes to try and reduce their churn numbers and get you to come back. I'm really sorry if anyone here is from, I love them. They're great. They're a great service and I still subscribe. But I've tried different ones because what is memorable about that customer experience that is unique to one brand over the other? So product marketing can be the secret weapon for your company's unique selling proposition. And we'll talk about why. Quick pop quiz. That's Kevin Costner from Field of Dreams. Not many Americans here, I don't know. Okay, sorry. True or false, hands up. If you build a great product, the right customers will find it and realize its value. Raise your hand if you think that's true. All right, we've got one. Anyone else? All right. Know your audience. This is good. False. That's Michael Scott from our version of The Office, which I think might be inferior to your version of The Office. No, I feel kind of bad. I think it's kind of a false narrative that if you build the right thing, maybe you're first to market and you think this is going to solve all these problems for all these different types of people right out the gate and become this unicorn story, get written up in TechCrunch, get incredible hockey stick growth overnight. It's not realistic. It can happen and it might happen, But there is also a more sustainable kind of long-term path that you can take to having that sort of success story. And you can do that by setting the right foundations through product marketing activity. To stand out, you must connect product to brand and make the experience personal. And that sounds really easy. That sounds like 101. But if you haven't set the right foundations in place, it's actually impossible to do it right. So, how to differentiate through product marketing activity. First is to prioritize and actually listen to the voice of your customer. The second is to craft thoughtful education throughout the customer lifecycle. And lastly, building, maintaining, and training consistency across your teams, beyond your marketing scope, all of your different stakeholders that touch your end user. So first, we're going to start off with voice of the customer. How do you prioritize the voice of the customer? What does that mean? We're going to start off with creating scalable feedback loops. And again, this can be like a team of two, sitting next to each other in London, or if you have more of a scaled company like I am now at Deliveroo, I should say my experience is all in early stage startups before Deliveroo, so I've kind of got both ends of the spectrum represented in this presentation. But on the quantitative side, how can you really capture a more mass market understanding of who you're talking to and why? So at Deliveroo, for example, we have a whole insights team that will either conduct their own kind of mass market research or partner with agencies to understand all three sides of our marketplace. And on the qualitative side, I also want to take a moment here. There are multiple owners of the voice of the customer, and they're all correct. But there's sometimes like these turf wars, like, no, I'm the voice of the customer because I'm an account manager and I talk to restaurants, or I'm the insights team, so we are the voice of the customer. All of those are just data points. And as a PMM, it's your responsibility to synthesize all these different types of feedback and deliver the right outcome for the business. So on the qualitative side, I have account managers. I have user research where we do in-person interviews at a regular cadence. We also use a tool, and this is not sponsored, I just really love them, called Chattermill. Does anyone here use Chattermill? Woo, okay, good. They're located nearby, but it's essentially a tool that allows you to collect feedback from your users in their own words, kind of like short paragraphs. Then they'll take out different keywords, synthesize that into a sentiment score, and they'll put it on a scale of -100 to a +100. And if I had just listened to my account managers when we launched Marketer in Q4 2018, there was so much buzz about it. Everyone was excited. We had taken this thing to market in 6 weeks across 13 global markets. I lost my voice. It was wild. But we got it out there. Everyone was excited. And if we had just listened to that, it would have been like, great, we shipped a great product. My job is done. But then I paired that with our sentiment score in Chattermill, and it was a -52 on a scale of -100 to a +100. And we were able to read all of this real feedback from restaurants saying, the MVP is too small. We need more. We need this. We need that. It was a good idea, but we had more that we needed to develop in order to make it really viable to solve the real problems for the restaurants who are relying on it to grow their business. And so that takes me into the second category here of sentiment. It's your responsibility to find out what is the right cadence and the right sentiment metric to consistently measure and to kind of feed that back into the business. Because oftentimes it's very easy to forget about those types of metrics and to focus on just the bottom line and just order volume. And what are you actually doing if you're just spiking order volume in 1 month and then everyone hates you? So yeah, whether that's NPS or satisfaction, whatever makes the most sense for your business and your target audiences, I think as a PMM, we can really bring a lot of value there. And then once you've kind of created those scalable feedback loops and sentiment scores, you have to feed that into your competitive positioning and your messaging, not only for your existing customers, but for the audiences that you want to attract to your business tomorrow. Next, we're going to talk about personas. Obviously, most people here know about personas. Fictional representations of your ideal customers. And this is an example of a framework that you can do. Again, this can be a 6-month-long research project for one person, or it can be a few weeks for a whole team. But we have to really understand the unique pain fit analysis for all the different types of customers that we want to attract. And then not only keep that in the marketing org, but to share that more broadly with the business. And I think one kind of qualitative or subjective success metric I like is when sales teammates communicate the personas back to me. They're like, that was a small business Sally, and this is what they want. That is a really good sign that it's being internalized by your team. Because then what we're doing is we're not thinking about our users in relation to their value to the bottom line of my business. I'm thinking about the problems we're solving for them. And that represents a fundamental shift in the way you think about success. Last, you have to exhaustively validate an ideal customer profile. Back at my last company for delivery was called Kayako. James Domenpipe in the audience right now, but he spoke yesterday about the work that we did to identify and validate an ideal customer profile. And so, yeah, if you think about things like what are the success metrics of this, persona that you're going after? What are the goals? What are the daily activities? And then on the fit side, like what is the total opportunity here? How many types of customers like that are out there? What's the average revenue? What's their company size? This is a B2B example, but of course there's consumer examples as well. And I think this needs to be consistently updated as well. If you just do one exercise to decide who your personas are, it's kind of just one snapshot, but that should probably be continually evolving. So once you've done that, you're starting to get the basics down, and you're setting yourself up to scale in a really sustainable and kind of like easier way. And all of that needs to inform your segmentation framework. And you need to define your buckets of target customers versus just blasting generalized messaging. So I think my key ask here for the Voice of the Customer section, how do you know that you know your customers? Or what are you kind of operating on and executing on that's just based on assumptions? And it's very easy to do. It's not really something that we should blame each other for, but like when we have limited resource and limited, events that we can trigger really personalized information off of, we don't really know our customers and the problems we're solving, it kind of sets us up to have a really bland brand experience or customer experience. Another thing that I try to communicate when I'm doing kind of like product marketing consulting with early stage founders who have a really big idea is to start with one segment first, win it completely, win mind share, become the category king or queen, and just dominate, and then move on to other verticals or segments. And I find that is a much more kind of efficient way of doing it. And also then you can make sure that you're prioritizing the right improvements to your product with your kind of product management team as well. And most importantly, that helps you to stay organized from saying, who are the customers I have today, but who do I want to attract tomorrow? And here's an example of a company that I think does that really well. Front they were one of our competitors back at Kayako. I think they've done a really good job here of distilling all of those foundations we just talked about into clearly articulating the problem they're solving, which is that email kind of sucks. And they say, great work starts in your inbox. And if you look in the navigation and the solutions page, you can see that they have organized the unique pain fit and kind of the benefits that they're playing up for all these different types of customers. So if you are coming to look for a solution for your team, they've got that right here. These are the industries that they want to better engage with. Or even if you're looking by feature. So whatever type of solution a customer or a potential customer is looking for out of their software, they have articulated that really explicitly and made it really easy to access that information at the forefront of their brand experience. So this is going to facilitate a really memorable experience. I know that Front actually solves my problems. Sorry, got a cold going. So much cold medicine right now. Okay, so once you've done all of that, you can finally craft really thoughtful education throughout the customer lifecycle. If you truly understand the unique kind of pain fit analysis you have set yourself up for success with actually creating a differentiated customer experience throughout the life cycle of getting the right value messaging to the right customer at the right point in the life cycle. This is an example of the onboarding series we created when we realized that we were sending out really generalized messaging and users were starting up for a free trial and didn't quite understand what to do next. And so we made sure to articulate all the different points of our value proposition to our target ideal customer profile right there in the first thing that they receive as soon as they sign up. So I guess here my key ask for you, your homework, you don't have homework, you're adults, it's okay, is to audit your marketing activities and see what is actually tailored for the exact customers you want to go after versus what is just a generalized message. And you will find a huge difference in the performance of that content when you're able to better explicitly solve the problems of who you're sending that to. Lastly, are we doing it on time? Doing good, all right. Building, training, and maintaining consistency across teams. When I launched Marketer in Q4 2018, I was 1 PMM. I had, at the time, 14 global markets. I had account management, I had heads of marketing, I had salespeople, I had commercial directors, pricing team. There's so many stakeholders at a company like Deliveroo. Again, I'm from early stage startup, so it was wild. But it was so fun because you get to get people excited about what you're doing. So yes, it is my job to position my product really competitively and make sure that the value messaging is shining through from the product experience through to the engagement we send after they've created an offer, for example, in Deliveroo. But differentiation requires more than stellar marketing activity. It requires enablement accountability. Getting all of those people across time zones, across teams, all of that requires something bigger than the product itself. The bigger picture and the ethos of like, what are we doing? And what problem are we solving? And who are we affecting by building this product? And how can we give value beyond the actual functionality of what we've built? And that requires a lot of buy-in and a lot of excitement and a lot of confidence in what we were doing. So I guess my key ask here is what can you do to break down boundaries and silos between teams in your company as well as between your business and your customer to make that kind of excitement shine through. Okay, we will quickly go through a case study. Again, Marketer is the start of our kind of marketing and advertising platform. Restaurants can either log in and create their own offers to engage with the right customers for their business goals, or they can kind of opt in to participate in one of Deliveroo's marketing campaigns. Like Black Friday, we had 6,000 Marketer offers live globally, all part of like a themed campaign. So yeah, I could have said, hey, here's a really cool discount tool, enjoy. But what a reductive way of doing my job. Instead, in everything that I did, from the commercial training, the resources, the sales decks, and all those things that we created, the playbook of insights, through every single training session, I talked about the way that we are transforming the way restaurants engage with customers in the delivery space. We're doing something bigger. And by doing that, we've turned Marketer into a business unit at Deliveroo that can actually drive a fundamental shift in what the industry looks like. And on the consumer side, yeah, here's a good deal on your favorite spaghetti. I don't know, that's a bad example, sorry. But no, we are changing the way that the perception of value for money on the platform. And so it's the value messaging of the bigger picture that got hundreds of stakeholders across all these different time zones to say like, yeah, I want to help with this, and helping to help my stakeholders to hit their goals was the way that we found success. And one really big thing that I want to talk about here is we had to listen to the voice of the customer at step one. And that informed the MVP, and that informed the product marketing activities that we did around the product. So something we heard a lot, both from account managers in our restaurant satisfaction survey, in user research interviews with restaurants face-to-face, is that restaurant partners expect us to give them more control. And that wasn't something that we were talking about internally. It was explicitly informed by those feedback loops. And they wanted more control over how to engage with the right customers for their business goals. So we kind of pivoted, and as part of the product, we made sure that restaurants could either target new customers, so purely incremental sales for their business, or plus customers who are subscription customers who are more loyal to the restaurants they engage with, or the full opportunity of all customers. We'll be expanding that targeting type over time. So already we're really solving the problem of our ideal restaurant profile, who is a more kind of growth-minded, higher value account, who maybe has historically been super operationally minded. Restaurants don't think the same way that I think as a marketer of 10 years. And so getting into that headspace and helping to educate them about what good looks like was a huge challenge in itself. And this is the USP. So this is product marketing activity. And this is how we have differentiated my product away from all the other promotions platforms that they engage with. This is an insights email. After they run the promotion, every single restaurant receives an email that tells them exactly how many menu visits, how many customers, how many new customers, how much money they made, how much it cost them, in an email in a self-serve way. They don't have to contact their account manager to get that insight and get that control. We then also to give them like personalized recommendations based on everything that we have learned about what good looks like and how to run a better promotion. And we serve that up in the email saying like, hey, why don't you try this? And then of course we have a call to action to create another offer. And this has generated a 60% repeat rate. So 60% of restaurants who create one offer because they get this email return in 90 days to create another offer. And the cycle continues. Okay, so that sounds really strong, but like how do we get restaurants to believe this is genuinely going to help them grow their business? First, we start with social proof, and we make sure that in the case studies, we are sure that we are explicitly solving the unique pain fit of our ideal restaurant segment. Okay, thank you. So this is a restaurant owner who was actually the ex-CTO of a private equity firm. And then he went to start Prairie Fire Barbecue. I think it's a cool story. Okay. So he ran a 20% off offer and got a 51% increase in orders just by targeting new customers. So that's going to be any customer who's never ordered from them before. And this, we kind of conducted the interview in a way that he told us that he likes the way a marketer gives so much control back to the restaurant's hands. For a small business segment right there, small changes in revenue have a really big effect. For me, the key thing in the ratio is the ratio between new customers and existing customers. So if you can tweak that ratio, that's success. So we have articulated who we're talking to, the problem we solve, and what success looks like. Okay, so that's one restaurant, but I've got 50,000 plus restaurants in 14 markets. How do I drive a go-to-market strategy that engages all of them or the right restaurants within that portfolio? I realized really soon in Q1 2019, that's still this year for a few more weeks, that I was going to have to rely on all of those stakeholders that I talked about. So we have local marketing teams in every single market, and they run their own marketing campaigns, like I mentioned, Black Friday, Treat Yourself Tuesday, 25% off Friday. And I realized that that was a perfect opportunity for me to help my stakeholders to hit their goals, and in turn, I hit my goals. So we rallied and prioritized scaling the process and making it super easy and effective for our marketing teams to run their campaigns through Marketer. We gave them playbooks of what worked well, why it worked well, what success was going to look like, how they should explicitly target the unique customer segments in their creative messaging and their assets. So we were connecting the external brand through to the product experience. And in doing so, the marketing teams and our commercial stakeholders got thousands of restaurants to engage with Marketer. And we unlocked broad, sweeping strokes of adoption instead of just relying on the one-to-one relationship of our account managers. And the kicker is they all received the insights report at the end of these marketing campaigns. So we've got thousands of restaurants who are opting into a campaign, getting really great results, benefiting from Deliveroo's channel marketing across our social media and what have you. And at the end, we say, here's how it went. Do you want to run another? and there's a call to action for them to engage. So we doubled down on that process and helping our teams to hit their goals, and this is our result. We launched Marketer through kind of 6 weeks in Q4. The black line is the start of 2019. Every single peak you see is one of those marketing campaigns. This is on the consumer order side. We grew from 200,000 in January to 3 million in June, currently at about 5.1. And every single time we run a marketing campaign, we both sustain a certain level of awareness for value for money on the platform from consumers and a certain level of adoption on the restaurant side. So it's like a win-win. This is kind of the measurement framework that my product manager and I both are accountable for in terms of the product health. How do restaurants engage with the tool? What does it look like? I look after more of the education side, like what do quality offers look like? But I've also created my own goals for product marketing. So how do I drive new customers to the platform and explicitly the target audiences that we have historically under-indexed with? How can I bring incremental audiences and orders and meal occasions to the platform through this tool of giving control to restaurants? And on the existing customer side, how do I shift existing customers from one segment to a higher value segment? So if you do all of that work in the beginning of the presentation to set up really scalable foundations for listening to your customer and differentiating throughout the life cycle, it allows you to be more explicit and have more control over what success looks like for your product marketing activities. And the end result is a really differentiated personal connection to the brand. So, in recap, how do you work beyond the roadmap and differentiate through product marketing activities? Put customers at the heart of your product and deliver product love to your customers. You and the business will feel the impact from customer happiness through to the bottom line. That's all the slides I have. Thanks.
Thank you, Alicia. I think we've got time for one quick question.
Oh.
So I guess we'll ask the first one. How do you make it personal in a B2B world?
So I started in B2B about 10 years ago, and I was like, wow, this is really boring. I'm talking to businesses. No, you're talking to people who are buying business software. They're still people. So I think it's really important to have a level of transparency and just make sure that you're thinking about time efficiencies and cost savings, but that still has to do with solving problems of someone's day-to-day activities. So you're just thinking about how to get someone through their workday, if that makes sense. And so with the persona development, that exercise intends to help you humanize who you're talking to, what are the daily activities that they're struggling with, how many Excel spreadsheets are they relying on that could actually be a really great SaaS tool. And so if you have that really good understanding of the people who are engaging with your B2B product or service, then it really helps to just speak to the problems that you're trying to solve for them, and then it kind of takes on a more human approach. Does that make sense? Okay. Is that it?
It is. Thank you. Thank you, Alicia.
Thanks. Thank you. Thanks. Sorry. High five you. High five.